Thank you, Aruna, co-panelists, and ladies and gentlemen. We are really running short of time, and I've been listening through the various presentations early in the morning as well as right now through that. So basically, I just want to skip through the basic couple of slides and go back to right to the basic issues today, because this is particularly the scene we are talking about. I mean, the slides, the coloring as well as the topic will tell you that we are in particularly in a very dire state of situation. The devices that we are talking about, the enablement process that we are talking about, and let me tell you that with the background that I have, I was in a bank for 22 years. The foreign, didn't have too much of exposure. Then I was in agri-commodity trading for about 10-15 years. We started one of the biggest challenges in ICT intervention and digitization efforts with Gramin Center Society, what Grasso, what Mr. Prasad is saying, and Aruna, and we have been dealing in the ICT India governance initiative for a long, long time. If you come to agriculture today, it's one of the worst performing sector in the country because of very many factors, not only here, worldwide. The trend is awesome, and we are not going to feed our people, and the subsidization, growth subsidization to cross subsidization to doing away with the subsidization. And whether it's E or M, unless it's delivered to the farming community at a price and the content they generate and what they require, otherwise it makes a awful statement, and day by day we are losing our overall ethos. I find some East Asian, our neighboring countries, probably from Thailand and all that. The cash crop that we used to have is basically taken away by Vietnam and a couple of other countries. In black pepper, in cardamom, in many other sectors, we used to have a premium in the market. It's no longer there. And why it is not there? Because if I have to go for a whole statement of agricultural mess and the amount of inclusion that is required for financial inclusion as well as going to that. So these are the points that fragmentation, and there is no coordinated effort to collectivization. The what inputs we are going to use, the day by day the fragmented lands, that we are not going to use the inputs properly and all that. This is the, I'm just carrying on with the dialogue so that you can see for yourself basically what I'm trying to deliver with this. And right from that end to this end, this is a compounded story of misery which is leading to a catastrophe. There's no way out unless we think twice. Now, or rather, there has to be a multi-pronged attack. The governance, so far as why eIndia? Because there is a falling, people are getting surplus over the lands. They are not getting employed. Most of the states, let's not talk about this year, it will be a serious problem in your two states also, in Haryana and Punjab. Today, after so much of advancement in ICT, we are still dependent on rain-fed agriculture as it, almost 60% of that. So these are fundamental issues which we are not going to tackle here. But even the given constraint today, what we can do using the ICT is basically today's focus is that. So these are the focus that we want to know. Credit is very important because credit, when you talk about credit flow, is at what point of time is credit? We have been listening to Dr. Kormukar and other people, and probably Navad will share with DGM will share with me that on-time credit has been one of the main criteria in the Rangarajan committee report. And I just wrote an article for CAB calling on the BC and BF model that despite inclusion and efforts to include in the financial segments, we have done very miserably because of very many factors. Because we have been able to, we've been able to inculcate the Brazilian model into that, where they use the post offices and other and the e-governance 100,000 centers that was to come if we have validated. But unfortunately, we started with that initiative. The payment and settlement system came into year 2008 as late as October, and to the year today 2009 October. So what we have been thinking, had we walked on two legs, probably would have achieved at a much faster pace. So these are the points that ICT in agriculture, in basically these are the points. How we are going to the legacy. I again and again go back to one fair statement of Dr. Ahluwalia. In ICT, he said there's he was basically borrowing a formula, NTOO. What was that? New technology, old order. It's basically expensive old order. In agriculture also, if we bring in too much of ICT without hitting the nail on the head, it will be more expensive order and people will slowly be devoid of using it. I will, because I have not used this slides over there, but I will take, FAO might, REACH might be familiar. Phenomenal work is being done by Inclusive Business, by World Business Council and other people using SMV and inclusive ICT technology in Latin American countries. We have not been able to do that. If Airtel and other people can come together, because I give you a simple example. The basic reason that we have not been able to, we having bumper crops of potato, it's the cash crop. Almost 80 lakh metric ton was produced in the state of West Bengal. Last year, almost 30% was eaten by the cow and wasted on the land. We couldn't sell it out. We started and tried to give a little bit of outside. This year, there has been dismal performance in potato because farmer haven't gone back to that and they have not produced potato sufficient. So these are the points that I'm trying to make. Unless you give them early age fertilization, I was pretty enthused because Sale Bazaar has come long time back. In fact, it was one of the innovation in the GSMA program in Barcelona, since I worked across ICT as well as financial inclusion and other ways also. So I will tell you that unless you have the fundamentals right, these additives doesn't really happen too much. These are the points that I have to make. Now these are the points that ICT has a distinctive edge, provided a centralized effort is there to collect and disseminate informations. How do you sort out the basic fundamental problems of grading, sorting and forwarding? Do you have enormous amount of warehousings? Do you have the certification of e-tickets or the certification so that it can become a tradable commodity, so that our storage facility, the refinancing or double financing scheme, ICICI Bank has started doing that, but then again has gone there. So you need to include, along with your biometric card devices and all that, these are the points that financial intermediation has to be random at level. And of course ICT can play a serious role in that. It has been too far long that where it is most required, except icing of the cake, that we have to go down a little below down the level so that we can work out and all that. And it includes both farm and non-farm. Gradually, the forests are diminishing. The tigers are coming into local areas and attacking because of the livelihood problem of this endangered species also. Because since the forests are coming out, they are not getting livelihood, and the encroachment and all that on the fertilizer, etc. and all this is compounding the regular problem that sometimes it's possible to do 3 or maybe sometimes cash crops with the fundamental crops. But most of the time that we are not having them. So slowly animal husbandry and other form of livelihood is basically emerging in the village community and economy. And if you look at the growth of urbanization in Brazil, in Latin America, in India in particular, and West Bengal and probably in Bangladesh also, because of the population pressure, more and more municipal towns are coming into which used to be about 10-15 years back, bare-bodied village only. So that's also a serious problem also for a cultivation problem. And this is the gap that we have to make up. So fundamentally, if you have to come out with the serious problem of this, ICT has to be ingrained in the right from the very beginning and till the end, so that we can conclude at it. Come out with a conclusion that yes, it's going to head for a life. Thank you very much.